the Chinese water torture. And I said no, I said no, I said no. Was teaching 3 seminars back to back. 2 days before that event, Jeff was at the program. He goes, look, you're coming to conference with me. And I said, you know, if I make up excuses here, where else am I going to make up excuses in my life? And as that time, my friend Amanda was calling me on the phone as I was talking to Jeff. And I said, that's it. I'm doing it. And I'm going to conference because what if it just helps Amanda? So I'm very grateful for a couple of things, Jeff, for being so persistent, and for Amanda keep calling me. And super excited this year because Amanda's decided to give it a strong yes after 8 years. So she's going to be at conference with us. And those of you know her from the What If video, and you'll get to spend some time with her. But let's just get to the nitty gritty about this wonderful woman who's on the line with us, who's got herself all covered up. Come on, show us those guns. Show us the gun show. And I have a special gift for you for doing this call for us. Are you ready? I got to show you. I just went out and got it today. Are you ready? Are you ready?
I think. Oh, yay! That is awesome.
Well, maybe we should show everybody the back part first, you know, with regards to this. So if you guys do not know that Jamie is an amazing CrossFit beautiful woman. And if you guys also, many of you might not know this, but Jen Steinman, who's on our team, who created the Desert Runners movie, about 5 years ago, we were at the CrossFit Games in San Diego, and we had a Juice Plus booth. And it was pretty crazy because as we were there, we were across from the SEALs, the Navy SEALs, and they'd be like reaching in their backs and you're like, hey, I got my Juice Plus here. Or there's the guy who's the kettlebell champion from Chicago, and he's like lifting people up, and he goes, hey, come here. He goes, I got my Juice Plus here as well. And we happened to meet this beautiful woman, Christmas Abbott, and she was, I mean, you looked at this woman, you're like, oh my gosh, I just want to look like that. And once again, Christmas was working with the TRX booth and is an amazing CrossFit person, and I know a big mentor for you, so I wanted to get you a special gift.
Oh.
So the last book at Barnes & Noble.
Awesome.
Anyway, back to Jamie. I mean, we all need to give Jamie a huge congratulations because she just became, her and her team just reached 100 Club. So give them all a big hand. They just reached 100 Club. But it has been with a lot of consistency, and I know that she's a mama. I don't have her bio right here in front of me, but what I do know most about her is I really respect her consistency, her heart, her passion, her desire to grow, you know, everybody. I mean, it's all about who can she help and who can she serve. And it shows through in everything that she does. So I know you'll share a little bit. Why don't you tell us your story and a little bit about your product story, and then why you said yes to the product and why you said yes to the business, and we'll get going.
So 13 years ago this month, actually, was when I had a coworker introduce me to Juice Plus. And first, thank you for all of that. And my team is amazing. I can't wait to see you at 39 Club so I can get that book. But yeah, 13 years ago, I was 25, working full-time as an occupational therapist in a nursing home setting. So for those of you, I mean, imagine going every day in your team, yet I knew financially like that was the best setting for me to be in. And so I think I kind of had a higher self-worth at that point in time, trying to say, where can I trade my time for dollars best in this field? And really, there's no like up. Once you enter that OT field, you know, you can become program directors, and then you can become regional directors of rehab companies, but that's not what I wanted. I wanted to help treat people. And so there's really no up. And new grads would come in and they would make just as much as you did, if not sometimes more if they came out with the master's or doctorate. My class was the last graduating class without the master's. We were the bachelor's program, and the next class just had to go like half a semester longer and they got a master's. So, at that time, as far as my health goes at 25, I always considered myself a little bit of a health nut. I had been a really sick kid. I was that respiratory kid in the hospital at 1 year old with croup, and then on lots of breathing treatments and a lot of inhalers. a lot of allergy shots, allergy meds my entire life. The joke is kind of, if it was once alive, I'm allergic to it. So cats, dogs, horses, trees, grasses, you name it. I kind of lived in a bubble. And so at 25, I had accumulated 8 different prescription meds, mostly for asthma and allergies. And I worried, you know, being in that nursing home setting and seeing these patients I was treating on a daily basis and how many meds they were on, I wondered, how many meds will I be on in my lifetime? And what are the side effects? And what are the contraindications? And I knew I wanted to start a family, and I wasn't yet married, but I knew that I wanted to have a family. And how would that affect me when I did get pregnant? And so my coworker, who was a huge angel to me, she said, you should try Juice Plus. And really, probably just because of the asthma and allergies she saw me dealing with. And I said, what's Juice Plus? And she said, well, it's fruits and vegetables in a capsule. And she had been on it for about a year. And after a year, she got, or 2 years. And after a year, all her was a vitamin junkie at the time. I was on a lot of stuff because I knew my diet wasn't quite where it should be. But at 25, I wasn't really ready yet to make those behavior changes. You know, to me, eating well meant that I didn't eat fast food and I didn't drink soda, but I was still really confused when it came to processed and packaged and all of that kind of stuff. So in walks Juice Plus, and she did not, I wanted it, but she didn't know who her distributor was. So she was somebody who had met somebody at a booth and kept getting it in the mail. And so she didn't even have anybody to refer me to. And back 13 years ago, I wasn't comfortable getting on the internet and putting in my credit card number. And so she shared some of her bottles with me the next time her shipment came in. And I think everything happens for a reason. And my sister giving me a phone call at the same time and said she'd been out at the bar with one of her nurse friends, Brandy. And Brandy said the same thing to my sister. Hey, I think I found something that could help your asthma and your allergies. And so my sister made fun of her, but picked up the phone and was making fun of Brandy to me. And I said, I've heard of it. I think I'm going to get on it. And she said, well, call Brandy and order. So I did. I picked up the phone and I, you know, called my sister's best friend and ordered it. And it was about 2 months of consistently being on Juice Plus that I had really started noticing. I mean, I noticed better energy, yes. Not a whole lot of other significant things physically that I felt, but when I went home and my little sister asked me to go for a run, I'd forgotten my asthma inhaler, which like 2 hours away, and said, Jill, I might have to walk. And I was able to run the entire time without needing my inhaler, which was huge because I relied on that since I was 5 years old. And through every practice and every game, I played collegiate soccer, so my entire soccer career. So the product made a huge difference in my life and got me really excited. I had 3 super healthy babies after that, and our kids rarely get sick. Today they're 8, 7, and 4. If they get sick, it's like a day, and it lasts so minor compared to what's going around. And just this whole community culture has allowed Jaron and I just to continue to try to be better and better with our diets. We're not perfect, we're not purists, but we do the best we can, and we're able to handle quite a lot with food. So that is my product story.
And so there, I mean, and isn't it interesting? You hear so many times about people who, you know, they never even told anybody about the business as well, right? So your person that introduced you to the product, had they shared with you about the business?
So she wasn't a distributor. She just was a happy customer. So she didn't even know who to guide me to. Yeah.
Right. And I mean, you know, and that's what I always share with people is, you know, that somebody shared the water filters with me back in 1989, which when I was 24 years old, so just a little bit younger than me. But but once again, they didn't share that with me, and I was just a happy customer, you know, with regards to it as well. And then later when I found out, so what about your business story? Share a little bit. What about your business story with us?
So Brandy was smart enough when I picked up that phone to simply order Juice Plus from her. She said exactly actually what was said to her. She said, Jamie, you've got a big family. You love helping people. Doesn't it make sense it's only $50. Doesn't it make sense to offset the cost? And at 25, that did make sense to me. So I was like, well, sure. And so she said back then, she's like, just go get 20 customers in the first 60 days. And so that's exactly what I just went and did. She just made it so clear what needed to be done. And I went out there and I shared it with coworkers. I was like Xeroxing like pamphlets and in the starter kit. I mean, it was really unprofessional and old school, but we had the cassette tapes, and I just was sharing it with people I worked with and with my family members. And there was an event that I invited my family to, my mom and my dad, my grandma, my aunt. And I remember my parents just crossing their arms, and they're like, we're not going. We don't want to buy anything. And I'm like, I don't care. Like, I'm going to feel like an idiot if you just don't come and support me. Like, I have nobody else going. And so they came, and they heard people they knew in the community sharing what great results they were having on Juice Plus. And so they've been on Juice Plus for 13 years. And my grandma swears by it. And she's like 88 now.
Isn't that the best? I know that with my mom was actually in occupational therapy after a knee operation. And she was over there, and she was supposed to go. They go, wait, is something wrong? And she goes, what do you mean? And they go, you must have the date wrong, because I guess the stitches. She was healing so quickly that the skin was growing over the stitches, and my mom's going to be 80. And then she was in there doing the occupational therapy, and she's like lifting her knee up like this and that, and they're like, wait, not that. You shouldn't be able to do that for another 2 weeks. And she goes, it's got to be this Juice Plus stuff, you know? And so you've probably seen that, right? With many. Oh, wow. Have you seen that a lot?
A lot of people. I have one of my high school friends. He just had knee surgery, and they were like, "You're so much further advanced in your recovery than most people are." And he puts a lot of posts out there about it, but in a really cool way. But
what would you say about that? What have been some of the results that you've seen as an occupational therapist? I know a lot of people, does it really help with healing? Does it really help with recovery? We know the research is there, but what have you seen as someone who's in the field?
So I always kind of share, for those who don't know what occupational therapy is that our goal is to get people to function. So some people aren't born with function, and you try to find adaptations in life to help them to be as independent as possible. And some people are full function, and for some reason they lose a function, injury or an illness. And so again, we try to rehabilitate them back to full function. And if they're unable to get to full function, then you try to find a way to adapt their environment for them to be what we call modified independence. So when it comes to nutrition in my profession, I think about, Juice Plus. If function is eating 9 to 13 servings of fruits and vegetables every day, and right, that's the average Joe, that's not an athlete, then one adaptation could be to take Juice Plus, and it could bridge that gap. But I love how Dr. Katz says too, but Juice Plus isn't just the adaptation to bridge the gap to make you modified independent. It actually changes you at the cellular level. So now that you are more open and start to crave more fruits and vegetables, and people start getting more fruits and vegetables. So it is a catalyst, an adaptation for a period, but it gets you to function over time. And so as far as results, definitely healing, wound healing. I think of always like blood flow, the tiniest of capillaries, a lot of inner ear stuff for adults and little bitty kids I've seen. Diabetics was a huge population that I got to see. And so just to help their blood flow and help their wound healing and blood flow to the extremities. Help to reduce your risk of strokes, cardiovascular disease. That was probably one of the youngest patients I saw in the nursing home was a 43-year-old who had a stroke, a 43-year-old male. And I think there were two 43-year-old males. One was a stroke, and one was, what was the other one? He had some kind of injury where he was unable to live on his own, and he didn't have any kind of support. It was that. Wow.
So I'm gonna congratulate a couple people because they've come on the line in the middle. I hope you don't mind. No. We've had a lot of great success, and we'll talk a little bit about leading into this next. And we have a blood flow expert on our team. She was one of the top Cialis reps back in the days. So so she talks a lot about blood flow, and I just wanted to congratulate her. That's Nancy Ross, who is, just became senior sales coordinator. So big hand for Nancy. She's really growing a great team and extremely consistent. And she reminds me a lot of you with her determination and her heart and her passion with regards to that. Also, I don't think he's on the line because he's in a meeting, but my son Josh just became qualifying national director. And just once again, I know that a passion for you is your kids, and you always talk about wanting to do this business with your children as well. I know you have 3, and just wait till you do it with your kids. I mean, it's like giving birth all over again, but with a lot more fun. We also have We also have that are on the phone, and I think Lori Muse just fast-tracked to sales coordinator. So just want to congratulate all of those guys on the line as we move forward. So let's talk about this, because we talk about, keeping the pool full with regards, do you have enough DD, dealers to get them to DD? Do you have enough people to get those, DDs to VFs, to get them to sales coordinators? And then, sometimes people get stuck at the next two positions that we know. They either get stuck, usually they get stuck at VF, or they get stuck at the sales coordinator position. But you got stuck at senior sales coordinator for 6 years. What? Come on, sister. What happened there?
Yeah.
Tell us what changed for you to move, because I know there's a lot of people that are stuck maybe on this line, I'd say probably, but stuck more at sales coordinator.
Yeah.
What changed for you to be stuck at, I'd love to know what took you from sales coordinator to senior sales coordinator, what created that momentum, because I think a lot of people on the line, that's where they're stuck. And then what got you stuck once you got there to senior sales coordinator?
Yeah, I think honestly, so I got to sales coordinator probably within 6 months of starting. Brandy, my mentor, had made it in 4 months. And so a lot of times you'll often do what your leaders have done because they know the way to show you. And so I got there a little bit less than she did, or a little bit greater time than she did. But then it took me about, I think, a full year to get to senior sales coordinator. And that momentum probably came with getting to a boot camp and getting to a conference and seeing that bigger picture, starting to change that mentality from being an employee to have that ownership mindset, because I was never raised in that entrepreneurial kind of way. I always saw trading your time for dollars. So getting to conference, getting to boot camps, that really helped to propel me to that senior sales coordinator position. But then life happens. So then I got married, and then I had baby number one, and baby number one and baby number two are 18 months apart. And then I had baby number 3. And so it was really not seeing a whole lot of women on stage who were in that phase of life, achieving NMD while going through that. And now we've got, Kimberly Warlow and Tori Davies and Casey Schloss, and, the list goes on and on, that you can do both. I just hadn't seen both. And Brandy had always kind of back then said to me, wherever it is you are in life, be there. And so I felt like I'm in this moment of being I want to be here.
Right. I mean, the same thing, like Linda. I know Linda had 3 under the age of 4 at the time, right? I think so. Yeah. And so I know there was a shift there as well for her. But what do you think the shift really became as you saw more women? I know my daughter, she was a couple of months old, but what was a belief that shifted for you?
Yeah, I think the more, it's kind of like the television commercials, right? There's some subliminal messaging that goes on. You may not be paying attention to it, but when you go to the grocery store, sometimes you're familiar with the brand, not because you paid too much attention to a commercial or an advertisement, but it's familiar to you. So I think that just the familiarity of seeing more and more women accomplish that, like, created in me, like, I can do this too. But really, I got through that phase of having kids, like after baby number 3, like I was like, I am done being at this position. And I just was ready. I was so ready.
So you were done also being done at that position of senior sales coordinator too, right?
Yeah, but it's challenging being there for 6 years. It's hard to feel like you can cast a vision for people to join your team and be successful when you feel, I was probably making a pretty great, paycheck, but not as great as it could be, not where I wanted it.
Right.
So, yeah.
So Mike, what was happening with the duplication on your team when you were stuck as senior sales coordinator?
Same. So my team was doing what I was doing. Yeah. I mean, I had one really strong line, but she kind of started having life happen to her as I was coming out of that funk. So we kind of.
And when you came out of that funk, you went to QNMD in the fall of 2012. Yeah. Then you went to NMD in 2013. Then you created lots of momentum, right? And started really creating that duplication, going to 50 Club in the fall of 2014, then 75 Club. Then, you and Linda, both 39 Club nominees. And then, so you and the winner are on the line right now. So, but also what's very interesting, I think that, I don't know about you, but I know that when that 39 Club nomination happened, I know for me personally, and maybe Linda can talk about this as well. Well, actually, she had already gone 100 Club, but I know for me, it was kind of like, well, geez, I got to go to what's next, right? For the team, I've got to make sure that what's next. I mean, you went just from the fall from 39 Club with your team to 100 Club, right? So what shifted as well for you to really get that momentum? What's your daily method of operation that you do with your team, or some of the things that are absolute musts on a weekly basis for you and the team?
Media is a huge of young mamas now. You need to be visible and about and meeting people and part of networking groups and so on and so forth, or just have your already set tribes up in your own community. Like, you need to find a way to be visible, and that was social media for us. And so that started to drive a lot of attraction. And then we started really learning from the UK as far as, having a little bit more social events, more experiential events where people time to connect. It was something that they were willing to trade their night for, instead of just sitting in a room and listening to a lecture. And so that helped with a piece of our momentum. And then what are some musts? Definitely, we have a Monday night team call as well, every Monday night. And then it's a lot of communication through Voxer at this point in time with the leaders and leadership. We just had a big event last week, and it was actually called the What If event, inspired by you. Yay! Somebody took that to a whole new level today. Yay! And now they're doing Zoom what ifs tomorrow night, the team is. And it's cool to see the leaders just take it and run with it. And so what else, or we're working, right? Like, we're talking to people. I mean, so my Juice Plus days are Monday, Wednesday, Friday. During the day, and then at nights it's pretty much Monday through Thursday, or I'd say Sunday through Thursday, that I'm available for three-way phone calls and connections. And and
people are clear. I mean, you treat it like a business, right? Yeah. I know for me, I know for both of us, and I know many people on the line as well, but I always show everybody, and actually I need to get this for you. This is years ago, when everybody asked me, how to get to NMD, and I just showed them my DMO, my weekly, my monthly, with regards to everything I did, and social media, because I was traveling so much, I couldn't be at home to do those events. So for me, social media was like my connection time. So I would go and I would, see who could I connect with, who could I create relationship with. So let's talk about social media. Yeah. But actually I want to go back to events, because the UK with regards to, let's talk a little bit about I know that in the UK, and I have a lot of friends over there, team over there as well, but their events were social, but you also have a very different demographic. There was a young really, really young type of things. You're talking more about the mama events. And I know that with probably more belonger values, where family was more of a lot for your community. And I think a lot of us here, the communities you work with have really strong belonger values, right? Like the family. So let's talk a little bit about some of those events that you do on a consistent basis, and also make it fun,
Yeah. So once a month we have a bigger event that everybody can plug into. And I'm trying to pull up, I'm kind of the connoisseur of words, and was really cool. We did Own Your Lives for quite a while, and we have to decide, is it product focused or business focused? We've had Paulo Teixeira in Washington this year. We've had we had Kevin Solser come and Harriet Solser come this year, and so those are it's a lot of the Own Your Lifestyle, and so we have this cool venue. It's like a bar, but they've got a big area, like a stage where a band usually plays, and we try to go on their night that they're not so busy, like a Tuesday night, and really the only thing they charge us is for a drink. And so we gift the people, so you get a free drink for coming and showing up, and so we give tokens for people who come through the door, and so that's pretty cool. And then people stay after and socialize, and Yeah. So we try to keep it very
bottle, basically just have a drink, and then everybody comes up. You'll have maybe a VF come up and share their story. Or so how do you do that?
Depends. We've kind of done a lot of panels. Those have been really successful, you know, where we've had like a medical panel, or we've had like all men's panel, or we've had like an all NMD panel. What else have we done?
Those are great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So, you know, with you, I know you have a lot of duplication, which is awesome, which is really what a great leader is, a great duplicator. That's truly what a great leader is, and is great duplicator, because it's, you know, we want to create independence as quickly as possible for people. Yeah. So what do you think has happened for you to create that duplication, so for people to become independent leaders?
I remember about 2 years ago, Jason LaChance asked me, who's our corporate regional director for Missouri, and he said, like Casey Schloss, my first NMD had just come on board, and he's like, how much can you cut out? Like, what fat can you cut out of what you guys are doing? And all these calls had started popping up, like the Startup Saturday and the Momentum Monday and the Team Building Tuesday. And he's like, can you cut that out? Can you, you know, what is essential for her? Basically, like the bare minimum that you can give somebody and that they can run with, like that's what we wanted to do. And so we call it quieting the noise. And we try to keep it super simple, you know. So we've got, you know, we definitely have this duplication of starting people off HLP day one. So really not, you know, casting the vision for sales coordinator, but working backwards and saying we all start HLP day one. But a verbiage, right? So I feel like everybody deserves to make 22% commission. It's not the top of our company, but it's the top commission level of our company. And I feel like it's my job to allow you to get all the money that's on the table for you. And though we all start HLP day one. And so we just show that little visual. It's like that picture with the 3 to 4 houses and all the way up to sales coordinator. And so really people need to problem solve. And I think something Casey's a master at is, you know, kind of having that profile, like who would be my best team member? And, you know, somebody who's self-motivated is somebody you want to attract. And, I was talking with another mentor the other day, and he goes, you really didn't have to tell Casey much beyond we get customers, we turn customers into team members, and then we teach our team members to get customers and turn their customers into team members. And that's true. She just has a big work ethic, and she's self-motivated. And sometimes we overeducate, you know, sometimes we give brand new people way too much stuff, and it slows. Now they think like they have to know everything, and then they don't go talk to people.
That's correct. You know, it's very funny what you just said, because it's actually the call that Cheryl and I did today. I was like, you know, Cheryl, just tell me what I need to do. She goes, one, you need to be a product of the product, Lauren. And I was like, what? You know, I can't just start with the reds and greens, you know, type of thing. She goes, look, if you're going to do this, you know, you're going to do this. And, you know, of course I loved everything. So it's like, you're going to be a product of the product. The reds, greens, the purples, you're going to, you know, whether the trio back then, you're going to go on the completes. Back then they had that you get started, right? And now it's a HLP, you know, bonus. That's a great way to really get people started. And she did exactly, I really want everybody to hear what you said and really get what you just said.
Yeah.
Cheryl said the same thing to me. I didn't know there was any other position other than sales coordinator. I didn't know that there was a VF position or a DD. You know, she's like, my job is to get a paycheck that you're going, you know, a check in your hand that you're going to be excited about. And that's to get you the highest commission structure, you know, the highest commission that we can. So that was really, so I'd love to see that. And the other thing she said, think about, you know, 15 people that you really love, would love to work with every single day. And she gave us a profile sheet. You know, does this person have an entrepreneur spirit? Does this person, you know, are they health conscious? Are they a self-starter? You know, are they all those things? And so doing that, I'm like, okay, I can do that. Right. And then she's like, okay, and be on these Monday night calls. So like you said, I love what you just said of quieting the noise, because sometimes there's just so much that people are like, well, which one do I turn to? You know, where do I really start? Where do I go? And now we have the option of, you know, to be able to send the videos and everything that we do. So I want to be respectful of your time. I think that how many would you say that, what do you think stops people?
I mean, sometimes it's confidence, right? Not knowing enough. And I think sometimes it might be their self-worth. It's like potentially a form of sabotage, them feeling like, I can't really make that kind of money. I can't really, so they find a way to sabotage themselves.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
So don't do it.
No.
Don't, do it, guys. Now's your time. Like, I don't know about you, but when I got my check today, I was pretty darn excited when I saw that. I was like, wow.
It just
pretty cool.
Better.
And everybody, I was like, wow, all right now, So anyway, and it's a team effort with regards to it, because of who I can help. I just came back. Asher and I just came back because I'm headed tomorrow to Fiji, because it was the worst cyclone ever. And I just had my friend text me saying, what can I do? She goes, Lauren, bring whatever you can. She goes, it's bad, So to be able to go right now to, Goodwill and buy hundreds of dollars worth of things to be able, family, where in Fiji it's got God, community, and family. I mean, if I had boxes and boxes of Complete right now, I would take it all over there, because they live off the land, so they've lost all their crops. So you guys, we do this because it's all about who can you help. It's bigger than us. Anybody you are amazing. I love you. I adore you. I truly, truly, really do. Don't make me cry. But does anybody have any questions? We'll take 2 questions. You just please unmute yourself that you might want to ask this rock star of 3, mama of 3, brilliant woman who went from, stuck at 6 years at SSC, and then moving on to QNMD and now 100 Club. 100 Club from, literally she went from 50 Club in the fall of 2014 to 100 Club with her and her team now. So anybody have any questions that they want to quickly ask? And we want to be respectful of her time. Anyone? Let's see. Yes, Suzanne. There's Suzanne.
Hey.
Hi. Thank you, Jamie. You were so awesome. And I love what you say. So I'm also a mother of 3, and I'm a dentist. And I really get stuck in like over-educating people. That's kind of one of my things that I do. And I want to kind of try to get away from that and keep it simple, because I've realized recently that I can't duplicate myself if I make it too complicated by the story. And that's what a lot of my team members even say. They're like, well, you have a great story, but we don't have a great story. So can you maybe share with me, like, on the simplicity, like when you do talk to customers and they ask you for more information, do you give them more of like verbal type information? Do you share a certain video link? Or what is like if I was a new customer that you wanted to turn into a distributor, or if I was someone brand new that you wanted to share Juice Plus with, what would you say? Just so I can kind of copy you.
Yeah, so 2 different, I think, thought processes. If you're somebody who's interested in taking a look at Juice Plus, I think I always want to try to connect it with them on the phone. I mean, that would be my first option, is to get me to be that messenger, right? But then also, how best do you learn? You learn best by a video? Do you learn best by reading something? I had my son's teacher, actually. So for Christmas, we gave her a Christmas gift, and then some little cute note about You Complete, Owen's 3rd grade year or whatever, and gave her samples of the Complete shakes. And then one day I brought my shaker bottle in to do playground duty, and she said, I think I need to get me some of that Juice Plus. I need to talk to you about that. And I said, that's great. Like, what's best? Do you want me, because she's on Facebook, like, do you like videos? Do you need something to read? And she said, actually something to read. And that's weird to me, but okay. So I gave her a Juice Plus for sure. And she emailed me and said she was ready to order. So I didn't have to say much. She's been following me on Facebook. So a lot of people get to watch me over time, and I can influence them with, just the credibility of who I am, living that mission like Lauren talked about. I think about that every day, like, how am I inspiring healthier living, and what I'm eating and what I'm drinking, and what I'm getting a massage or going to the chiropractor or an acupuncturist or making kombucha. And I try to, let the world see that, so it helps to raise my credibility beyond somebody who just sells Juice Plus. And then we have the healthy living rules, which is really fun. So that's another way to show people exposures and to attract. So I don't think you can say the right thing to the wrong person or the wrong thing to the right person, if that makes sense. But stories are way more, or better, I think, than all of the, research, T cells, B cells, natural killer cells. I mean, for the average person, they're just going to mute that out. But for your colleagues, it might not. So it probably just depends who you're talking to.
And also, Suzanne, remember, all of our stories, their story, your story is their story, and to get people to share those stories, right? You want to use the story of, hey, I have a friend who's an occupational therapist who just did this, right? And here's how she did it. Or here's, our friend who had this, or here's our friend who did that. So remember all those stories. You want to encourage everybody to go, it's not just my story. Like you use your story for some things, but not for everything as well. Right?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Jamie.
You're welcome.
Great. Anyone else? Okay. I think we have Manon.
Hi, Jamie. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Hey, just kind of dovetailing off of what Suzanne said. Are there certain go-to videos or things that you really kind of in your quiver that you would say are your five most utilized videos? Are there 5 that you just say are your go-tos? Like, okay, like let's say one for I'm a children's health study person, another one for somebody who wants to, like, let's say lose weight, or somebody who's in the business wants to join the business. Maybe it's like a top 5 list. Do you use those? Could you share that?
Yeah, I'm a big fan of really short little clip video, because it briefly talks about the research, and it talks about how it helps to change over cells and people actually start to eat more of the fruits and vegetables over time, and how it just makes so much sense. So I really do like his little snippet. I'm a fan of the farm to capsule, like, show me how you do that, right? Show me how you grow these fruits and vegetables and you get them into a capsule. Again, it just depends on the person. I love Dr. David Phillips if I'm talking to athletes. And then I love Lauren's. We use Lauren's all the time, the what if, right? To really that's a great video to share with people who are your customers, and you want to maybe have that conversation with them about joining your team, because it pulls on their heartstrings. Did you get a chance to see that video that I shared? It was really inspirational to me. What stood out to you about it? And, did anybody cross your mind that might benefit from Juice Plus like you have? And that's a pretty powerful way to invite them into the businesses with that video. So I also had another mentor before say to me, you go through that Juice Plus archive, the YouTube channel, and which one gets you excited? Because your excitement and your confidence is what is going to matter most of all. So find the one that gets you excited and share that one with them, because your excitement will shine.
And you guys all know, the reason that I really, invested to do that what if video is people are moved emotionally. When you can move somebody emotionally, they will find a way to make things happen. So you've got to, like, I know a lot of you that, that people are trying to go to, and you guys, we talk about this a lot. I mean, especially those of you that know from the Robbins world, that there's 3 levels, 3 levels of mastery. There's 1, intellectual mastery. And you got to get out of that intellectual mastery, because if you get stuck in intellectual mastery, you're never going to be able to move people to take action as quickly as they need to. So level 2 is what? Emotional mastery. When you can move somebody emotionally, move them emotionally. That's why the NMD stories are so powerful, right? Is because it moves people emotionally. And then there's the 3rd level, which is physical mastery. That's the Goya. That's when you get off your ass and do something. But usually you don't see people jump from intellectual mastery to that 3rd level of mastery, which is physical mastery. It happens to them emotionally to get them to take action. So that's why anything that you can do to move people emotionally, to show them, or a quote or a video, or especially something that gets them to think about, oh my gosh, someone else like me, they get what that's why Moms on a Mission is such a great thing, or Boss Babes, or whatever that it is for you. Yeah. So great. Well, I'm very excited. Thank you again. I know it's late there, but I appreciate it very much. I know the team does as well. And what you doing over there, Vivica? My tower garden is actually finally growing. Thank you so much for doing that. Those of you that I have an actual tower garden, I actually know what I'm eating because Vivica labeled it all for me. So I'm super excited. Thank you about the tower garden. The other thing that I would just say, you guys, we've got conference coming up. Please make sure that you sign up for that meal plan. that we've arranged. I did have to give a final guarantee and gave about 10 names more than we do, but we are starting with our smoothie training on Thursday. Then we'll be having our reception on Thursday night. Then we have lunch on Friday. And then we'll have snacks for you guys. And then we'll have a wrap up at the very end. But we're going to do something very fun at the very end of the boot camp for you guys as well. All right. So thank you, Jamie. I'll see you there. Can't wait to give you a big hug in your book. All right. Bye, everybody.